everybody, and welcome to the Dream Team Tonic podcast, where we talk all things Dream Team, helping you to win your mini leagues. Before we start, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and notch the bell. Make sure you get notified every time a new podcast lands. If you do want more content, or just to show your support for the Dream Team Tonic lads, head over to patreon.com/Dream Team Tonic. The link is in the description below. We offer access to an amazing Discord, exclusive articles, fixture easies, live question and answers, and much more, all to help you improve you as a Dream Team manager. Without further ado, I hand you over to me, Tony, for today's podcast. Enjoy, and thanks for your support. Oi, oi!
Hi, Tony.
Good evening. You right, James?
Yep, I'm just about recovered from my bout of COVID last week, hence the no pod last week.
Yeah, it was a struggle last week, weren't it? Going into an international break, it wasn't too bad, but we've followed foul. Ben's disappeared this weekend. Working hard, doing some extra shifts in. So if it's not illness, it's work commitments, but we're getting there. It's good to see you, mate. Hopefully you're feeling much better. Fully recovered?
I keep getting tired and I have to go for naps and stuff. I feel like I'm 80.
How to do that.
So yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge, but I'm getting there.
Excellent. So obviously we missed last week. I mean, we've had a crappy international break. Never fun. Always a bit of a bore. But if we want to jump back to the week before last and see how your team did, James, and let's have a run through that, mate.
Yeah, 89 points, decent score. Bit disappointed with my Dallo transfer. That's not turned out too good so far. But at the back, I've got the United block, 3 points from De Gea, nothing from Martinez, 5 from Shaw, Zit, and Dallo didn't even play. In the midfield, 5 from Foden, 18 from Fernandez, 20 from Saka, 7 from De Bruyne. Up front, Rashford got nothing, Carolan got 23, and Kane got 8.
Well, the big hitters got some points this week, didn't they?
Yeah. 89 points. There's a few people on the chopping block. I've still got transfers left, thankfully. I think Foden is probably going to become Mahrez, possibly Matoma. He's out for a few weeks now, I think. I was reading earlier that the average recovery, he's just had his appendix out for anyone that's living under a rock. The average recovery, the earliest is 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's ruined them.
Eric Dyer took 6 weeks to come back from his a similar operation. Most people come back after 3 or 4 weeks. Some people come back after 2. So I wouldn't be surprised if Foden was out. He's going to be out for 2 weeks, I reckon. Possibly 3 or 4. Could be more. You know, it's not like City haven't got able-bodied replacements, have they? So,
that's it. So they won't be rushing him back, will they?
No,
exactly. So
exactly.
painful. Hearing that, I went into work today. I listened to it on Talk Sport this morning. He's had his appendix removed. I'm like, this is a piss take, surely. We want to play that sad music in background, but he was my last transfer in that I tried to reverse, or I did reverse, just in the wrong side.
I'd forgotten about that.
Oh shit! Yeah, so
okay.
I've no transfers to remove him either. But yeah. So who's the options you're looking at? For him, Mahrez, maybe.
Yeah, well, Mahrez is going to he'll get more game time if Foden's out, because Foden sort of came in and reduced his game time. So I would think Mahrez will benefit from this, although never quite sure with Pep, but I'd be surprised if Mahrez doesn't get more starts now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what he's like. He might just throw Bernardo out there just to annoy everybody. Good job with keeping Fernandez, because I think I was in the same boat as you, and I were touching on thinking Fernandez might need to go at some point. And he's obviously tipped over and stuff, but good haul for him this week, and I think that changes my mind on him as well. I don't know how yours, but
yeah, I as you know, I was thinking about getting rid of him, but with 12 fixtures for United, I think it is, between now and the end of April, it would be madness to take him out now. There was a case for bringing in the likes of, Odegaard for him or somebody like that, but Arsenal don't have the fixture volume. It doesn't make sense. What do you reckon our forward lineups could be next week, Tony? I mean, well, you haven't got any transfers, have you? So with Haaland being injured potentially as well.
Yeah, it pains me. It pains me.
Spurs out of Europe. So Harry Kane's no longer, an essential option. Certainly a decent option, but it's something to think about. So if Haaland and Kane are out, I mean, if you look at my team, I could be going into the game with just Rashford, and it does sound like Haaland's injury is not one of these international break injuries.
Yeah, I mean, when I seen him flagged, my first thought was, just keep him cool for that Liverpool game, aren't they? And hearing more, there's a little bit more substance to it, possibly, and that worries me even more because I have no transfers. Haaland, Foden, both out. A saving grace is I threw Alvarez into a few teams last week, which I think he got a 20-point haul, and he bumped me up he bumped my second side up to 157th. So
wow, that's good.
So if Haaland is out, I think Alvarez gets another start.
Yeah.
And in the mini leagues I'm in, he's a very good differential at the moment. Whether that continues, because obviously if Haaland is out, you can see many a switch across to Alvarez. But yeah, that front line could look different. It could be sat there with Tony and Ferguson in, could it, alongside Rashford?
It could be. We've got a question coming up about the forward line, haven't we? So could be some different players' names in the mix, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, not many options going forward into Europe at the minute for us. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Across to my team, my podcast team, which is looking ever by the week, it looks so much more heavy City. So Ederson in goal, who did play, would have had a clean sheet. Ortega did make a few decent saves, so it was good. I went in on heavy City against Burnley, just hoping that Burnley tried to play them at football and got a tagger in, which they did. So that was nice to watch. Diaz 8 points, Walker 8 points, Shaw got 5 points, De Bruyne 7, Fernandez with a nice haul of 18, Foden 5, Mitoma another 8 points. Why didn't I put him into my top side? Don't want to play that sad tune music though. But yeah, Mitoma 8 points. Alvarez, nice punt for the week.
Wow, fair play.
20 points. Haaland 23, Rashford 0. 102 points of the week. Nice little score for this team. Like I said, I did do the Alvarez in, I think, 3 or 4 teams. Just Alvarez starting against Burnley, who were going to come and try to play football, because to be fair, it's no slate on Burnley. They've been impressive all season in the Championship. Best side in Championship by far. But if you go to the likes of City or Arsenal and try and play like football, you usually get burned and it's short again.
Yeah, good shout that. It's a shame I was in bed with COVID at the time. I might have given that some thought myself.
It's under Dyche, he wouldn't be one I've attacked, because you know he's probably going to sit players behind the ball. He's going to make it tough for City, and he might score a couple, 2 or 3. I just thought with company, he's going to go for that. They're playing so well. Why would he try and change what they're doing.
Yeah.
Go and express yourself, lads, and that's what it turned out like, and obviously City's quality shone through in the end. But yeah, Alvarez, nice 20-pointer. Happy days with that. So that's where we are. That's how our teams did. Obviously, it's been a long international break. It always is. We've got a few questions in, leading back into, obviously, we're going into April, the new fixtures. The transfers don't land until the Friday after. So we've got another game week. So let's have a look at these. Mav's been on the Discord. The Beast, Rashford, and who? Is Ferguson a potential third striker differential option for April, especially if you're chasing in a mini league? What do you reckon, Jambo?
Well, like I was saying, with Spurs, Arsenal, and Liverpool going out of Europe, it certainly opens up that third striker spot. You probably won't agree with this, but I quite fancy, believe it or not, Nunes and Salah, despite their Man City away, Chelsea at home, Arsenal at home, because Liverpool have a habit of racing their game against bigger opposition. Like we've touched upon.
Who's that?
Oh wow! Bloody hell!
They are.
I thought you. Yeah, Alvarez, obviously, if Haaland's out for any reason. But going back to the question about Ferguson and that third striker spot, yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a crazy idea at all. But Brighton have 8 fixtures between now and the end of April. The next 2 for Brighton are very appealing, which is Brentford at home, Bournemouth away. Then they have a bit of a tricky run with Tottenham and Chelsea away and Man United at home, which is not so good. And then they finish with sort of Forest away, Wolves at home, and then Man United at home again. So it's a bit of a mixed run, but they've shown that they can score against anybody.
Definitely.
I think Ferguson looks fantastic for an 18-year-old. He appears to have everything you need to succeed as a centre forward. He's got quick feet, he's a big lad, physicality, natural finisher, eye for goal. He's only 18, but he's mature beyond his years. It would appear. I think he could be a potential star of the future. With he's got everything. Quick. He's good with the ball. Can play as number 10 at Brighton. What do you think?
He's talented player. Brighton keep finding these diamonds. I think I harked on about it on the pod last week. About so refreshing to see a lot of players that might not get a chance, given a chance. They've got such a good core there, and they keep bringing through these little diamonds in amongst it. They're making stars of the future, Brian. And they're rolling them off one by one every season. He looks good as an option in Dream Team. He's scoring goals, so he's an option. Definitely, he will be a differential. I did notice, and I haven't looked into this completely. He did get benched a few games. Obviously, he's only a young lad.
Yeah.
And they do have Welbeck up there. Not too sure on his fitness status at the minute. So he's not a surefire starter every single game. So even if they do have a massive fixture volume of 8, say, the likes of, say, Matoma are pretty much nailed. McAllister nailed. Ferguson, he's not nailed, but when he's on the pitch, damn, he's good. He's good. And if he can, if they feel like giving him a really good run of games, he could be an explosive differential, definitely. And I'm really excited to see how far he can week in, because he, like you say, he's got everything. Yeah. Won't be surprised if he's leaving Brighton very soon as well, because they're picking him up and they're making him known very quickly. Matoma, only a few million, I think they paid for him.
Mm.
3 or 4 million, was it? And
It was peanuts in comparison to what I saw people
what's he
joking.
worth now?
He's got to be 50, hasn't he? Or something along in that bracket.
Yeah, you are looking at that.
Yeah.
He's shown his talents. He's done it in the Premier League. He's doing it quite easily. He's young. Yeah, 40, 50 mil.
Mm.
Tell you what, it's a great business model.
Yeah.
Buy some shares in Brighton. But yeah, fair play to their scouting network. It's absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. But yeah, great differential option. If he gets the game time, he'll get you points. As you say, in the dream team, you need him to score or assist, don't you? And he's in amongst it. So,
are you actually going? Despite what we've said, would you go with him over someone like Nunes, though, playing for a side that's got more pedigree in theory, at least?
I get what you're saying, and it's one of those. Fixture volume is massive, definitely. Brighton have a few extra games because of obviously having the rearrangements and stuff. Again, because Ferguson, if he was nailed playing week in, week out, and I know he's going to start as number, unless he gets injured or sent off, he is starting as number 9, then yeah, I would. Because of how well Brighton are playing, the form of him and his team, and then fixtures, yeah, there is a few toughies in there, but Brighton have no reason to fear any of them teams they're playing. They could turn every single one of them over. Yeah. Without a doubt. They could do it well as well. They could do them 2-3-0. They're that impressive, Brian. They're a very good side. So I would, yeah. But as we know, Nunes is probably nailed as number 9 for Liverpool. And no matter how crap Liverpool have been this year, or how up and down their form's been, or hit and miss they've been, they'll still create chances. Yeah. And Nunes will get chances. Whether he squanders them, where he buries them, we don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'd probably go for a Nunes over Ferguson. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would. I think if I had a transfer left this month, I think Ferguson would be higher up my list. But if you're waiting until the new transfers come out, you're looking at that run of Spurs away, Chelsea away, Man United at home. Yeah. I might wait. I don't know. Like you said, Brighton can score against anybody, and they've proved that. But those fixtures don't scream goals to me.
No. But I would also, if I were given the option, would I choose Mitoma, who's more nailed, probably going to start every game for Brighton, over Nunes? I'd say Mitoma.
Yeah, so would I, definitely.
Which is, so it seems strange, but it's just because I know he will play.
Yeah.
That's all. And you do have fixture volume, Brian. Yeah. It's an interesting debate, though. It's an interesting one. DT Patrick, apart from Haaland, I mean, this might change because obviously this was a couple of days ago. Who would be your 5 essential players from now until the season's end? Obviously, Haaland's picked up an injury, so he might not be the most essential. But James, who you got to accompany him there?
Well, this is in a rough order as well. I would say Rashford, Kevin De Bruyne, Fernandes, Shaw, David De Gea.
Yeah, I like that. I went KDB, Rashford, Shaw. The 3 definitely. I've got the same as you. But then I've gone Matoma / McAllister.
Right.
I think a Brighton asset is definitely an essential from now till end of the season. definitely. Whether it's one of them, I think you've got to cover them because I think we're going to end up with a few of the top teams with maybe one or two of them in. Obviously, Matoma, I think there might be a few teams that double up. So I think one of them, definitely. A double up, I wouldn't be so much against. Obviously, McAllister playing a little bit further forward. Penalties. And Matoma's winning penalties, scoring, assisting. He's just looking unbelievable. So, yeah, I'd have them thrown in there. Yeah, De Gea, great shout. He's a bit of a star magnet as well, isn't he, De Gea? I have to pull United out of crap now again. Shaw just loves an assist, and the amount of times he's nearly scored this season as well, and scored is decent. Rashford, is he injured? Is he not?
I've got a feeling this is an international break injury, Tony.
Yeah, and that's what I think about Haaland. I thought Rashford, Haaland, they're all doing the same thing. But it's the qualifiers, and so they're not friendlies. I don't know.
Southgate doesn't seem to like Rashford as much as...
No, and he's probably fed up with that, as I would be.
Yeah, there might be an issue that between those two.
Yeah.
Which is, when you consider Rashford's one of the most informed players in Europe, it's a strange one. I hope... Well, I mean, it's sad to see when players... It's probably wrong to assume that he is taking a sickie, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But if he is, it's very sad to see that a player of that stature doesn't want to play for England. You know,
it is. I don't think. I think he would love nothing more than to play for England and be a regular in that side. And he's probably believing that his form, he should be in that team. Is there a more informed striker than Marcus Rashford at the moment? No, I don't think there is.
There isn't. His form is way better than Kane's if you look at it.
Yeah.
And Kane's a shoo-in.
It's just odd. It's odd. The comments from Southgate about, oh well, he can't pick him because he's never in the team, or that's odd. He had him at the World Cup. Whenever he was on the pitch, all he did was explode and do well. And then he got dropped. It's just something's not right. And yeah, there might be a little bit of needle between that relationship, and it probably passes on to the bringing Trippier on instead of Chilwell at left back. I mean, that'd upset me if I was sat there as a left back and they bring a right back on instead of me. Yeah. I'm sorry, I'd be fuming because Chilwell as well, who has been playing bloody well for Chelsea. Back from injury, back to his flying best, it seems. And they're bringing on a pissing right back instead of you. So I'm only going to get game for England if all your right backs are injured and your left back gets sent off. What is it?
Oh, don't worry, Trent won't be in the mix at all. He clearly doesn't like it.
Trent doesn't get a look in either, does he? I mean, although I'd love to see someone experiment with Trent up further forward.
I hear that a lot from Liverpool fans. Funnily enough,
I just want to see.
They'd like to see him playing in midfield somewhere. Or trouble is, he plays on the right hand side. Where if you're going to stick him on further up the field on that side, then that's where Salah plays.
I'd just move Salah in field.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Trent's in theory. Well, they have tried him in midfield before. And not very often, but every time he's played there, it hasn't really worked. So it's not like they haven't tested the water a couple of times. I'm not saying he's had a run of games there. I think if you're going to do it, he would need a run there, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
and he
definitely.
Certainly would need to do that for Liverpool. You're not going to get an England spot over Bellingham and Rice, are you? We're not desperate to stick a right back in the midfield, are we?
No, not at this moment in time.
No.
Right, quick toilet break, mate.
Okay.
Obviously, I can't pause these broadcasts anymore. So we're going for the toilet break. and get a refreshment. See you back shortly. All right.
All right.
Excellent. Welcome back. And we go onwards with the questions. Goo's been on. Are any of you considering going all in on United and City now due to fixture volume, even at the expense of informed players such as Saka? Tricky one. Reckon, James?
Yeah. Definitely a tricky one. I don't think I'd be going all in on City. Mainly because of rotation. They're certainly not on the back. I'm not a huge fan of Grealish. I know you've got him and he's done all right. He ticks along. So that leaves KDB and Mahrez and obviously Haaland. Who would you pick outside of those guys unless you wanted to go a bit different? I think, like you said, Fernandes is a shoe-in with all the fixtures Man United have got, plays every game.
Yeah.
Would I get rid of Saka? That's an interesting twist. Arsenal have significantly less fixture volume than the likes of City and United. I think that is a valid question.
He plays every game.
He does play every game. Yeah, it's a tricky one. I would be tempted to get rid of Saka, despite his great form. He played well today again for England. I think
great role.
you can. There's opportunity to take him out for a few games, bring him back if you've got the transfers to do it. Pick those fixtures. Yeah. I don't think he's essential given the fixture volume. Have you any additional thoughts on it than that?
Obviously, attack fixture volume is always how it should be, really. With City, it's always a little bit of a conundrum because you could say take out Saka for the likes of Mahrez because Mahrez has 16 fixtures, Saka has 10. But how many of them 16 fixtures will Mahrez play?
Yeah.
We know Arsenal have, I think they have 10 or 11 league games left. So he's going to play every single one of them, barring injury or suspension. He plays every one of them games. He's on penalties. If I can leave some room for Saka, I will keep him in. But when we start breaking it down, we've got maximum four midfield spaces. We want Fernandes. United have the fixture volume, and he starts every game. He does not play, so he's a shoo-in pretty much. City, you can't really go that far without De Bruyne. He's had a bit of a rest recently, and now he seems to be he'll be back in the side. He'll be picking up points. He gets to the business end. He won't be rested as much because Pep will know he needs to win these games. He needs to win every Premier League game. He needs to be winning these Champions League games. So De Bruyne's probably a shoo-in as well. So that's 2 of your positions gone. And I really do think you need a Brighton midfielder in there, at least one, which is Matoma or McAllister. So unless you do double up either on the United midfield or a City and attack the volume, maybe an Anthony who's a differential, Casemiro whenever he comes back from suspension, just some of that ilk. Are you really? Saka's still a decent option, even with the less fixtures.
Yeah.
And if he wasn't on penalties, I don't think he would be. He would. The decision wouldn't trouble me as much. It'd be a bit easier. But because he's on penalties for Arsenal as well, and we know he'll be starting every game, and he's on such good form. A lovely goal tonight from Saka. Really nice turn. Really nice finish. Yeah, all in on the United and City team. I mean, my podcast team is pretty much all City as it is. So it depends. It depends where you are in your mini leagues and stuff like that. But with no harm in going quite heavy on one of the sides or on both of the sides. Obviously, it just depends. You've got to gauge it against the ones above you, but they've definitely got the fixture volume. United, City, Brighton, Brentford have a good amount of fixtures as well, I think. They're differential. Yeah, anything to add to that, James?
I think I agree with all the points you've made. I think if it was Odegaard you'd be talking about, it might be a different story. But Saka's in such good form, and he's playing. Yeah, he's racking up. Was it 20-point haul last game week?
Yeah,
he's capable of doing that. So that soon, even if he doesn't have the fixture volume, like you say, if he's getting 20-point hauls, then he doesn't need the fixture volume.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wouldn't talk anybody out of sacrificing him though. Sacrificing him. I think Brighton's twosome, Matoma and McAllister. I definitely wouldn't be scared of going with Matoma, McAllister, De Bruyne, and Fernandes.
Yeah,
as a foursome. Especially if you need that differential, because I think some of the bigger sides, some of the sides that are above you, say in your mini leagues or in the overall leaderboard, will probably keep Saka for that reason. It's quite safe. It's quite safe in the fact that he's going to play every game. He's on penalties. He's probably going to tick along quite nicely. But if you're trying to make up a bit of ground, you want to do something a little bit different. I think the Matoma, McAllister, Fernandes, De Bruyne, that's the midfield, I think. That's what I'm looking at as well, because I need to make ground up. So that's what I'll be looking at. Right. Aman, And on Totler, who's having a great season, up to 15th, I think it was when I checked earlier. He's 7 places ahead of me right now. When do we go heavy on Brighton and how many? It's something I've been contemplating. Throwing in a few of the back line as well, because defensively look solid. They've impressed going forward. They seem pretty much fixture proof at the moment. It only takes 1 or 2 bad results to change everyone's thoughts about that, but they look so impressive, James. So, are you planning on going heavy on Brighton anywhere?
No, I'm not. I've got United blocks in most of my teams. I don't see any reason to move away from that at the moment. They've got reasonable fixtures. So for me and my teams, that doesn't make sense. I am tempted to bring in a Matoma or a few, definitely. Well, I don't think I would personally go more than that. In Aman's position, it's do or die, isn't it? Really, when what position did you say he was in?
15th, I think he is now.
15th. Yeah, I mean, he's in with a shout of winning the whole thing. It's those sorts of decisions that can make or break your season, as I know from last year.
Yeah,
it can go horribly.
Go
I don't think there's too much risk with going with a couple of Brighton mids. I don't think I'd be going more than that. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one. I would say 1 or 2, but probably no more. But I'm a very cautious player, so that's my opinion.
I'm liking to look at Superman and Dunk. Proper differentials. I mean, imagine throwing a couple of them in and you get 3 or 4 clean sheets on bounce.
What about the Stupinan? He's the
attack,
but he's not. There's talk that he's not nailed to play every game, so
he's doing decent, and I honestly think I know Aman obviously he's quite. I think he's quite a similar player to yourself, James. I do think we've had him on the pod a few times. I do feel like he likes to play it safe a little bit, and he's a great manager. Well, he's always up there. He's always doing well in Dream Team. So in 15th, and as I said last week and the week before, I'd rather finish 100th and have a go at it than finish 10th and just not bother. Just sat safe. I don't want to sit safe, and that's why I put Tony in my team this week.
Yeah,
because the safe option was just to hold Kane and save my transfer. But wouldn't it have been nice, a Kane red card, a Tony hat trick? You don't know. I know the things that win you a Dream Team league, and it didn't quite pay off. My transfers haven't quite paid off. I've dropped probably about 12 places, so I'm about 22nd or 20th now, something like that. But Brighton could be the answer.
They could be. I think you can't have an entirely template team and win it. I think you do need to have 1 or 2 differentials. I don't think we need 4 or 5 differentials, unless, of course, you are in a 100th spot. You might end up in a 1,000th spot if you're not careful.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it depends on where you are in the league. If you're 15th, then 1 or 2 differentials could be the way to go. But I don't know if I'd go any more than that, to be honest.
Would you say
you're there, Tony? What are your plans? Are you willing to share those?
I am honestly contemplating Brighton as a straight swap because I went Arsenal. I was expecting Arsenal to get through in the Europa League. I'm not gonna lie. I thought they'd get through. And I thought then with their fixture volume, which would have included the Europa League, would have been all right. And I was expecting clean sheets. So I think I went Gabriel Zinchenko. So therefore, with my next set of fixtures, next set of transfers, I'm going to have to move them on, I think. And who am I going to go to? I've got the other side of my defensive block is United. Do I go? There's a lot of teams up there which are heavy United. There's a lot of teams up there heavy Arsenal. There's a lot of teams. Well, I say a lot of teams. There's probably 2 or 3 now that are quite heavy City. I don't see any Brighton up there.
Not yet, anyway. I'm sure there will.
Yeah. Well, there is not yet. And who's going to be the one that jumps on them? Who's going to be the one that says, you know what, sod it. Brighton might get 3 clean sheets, 4 clean sheets in a row. And if I'm that one that's on them, you can go from 20th up to 5th, up to 1st. That is the punt. You can't sit there safe. You cannot have a template team and make any ground whatsoever.
Yeah.
So, Aman, you're going to have to take some risks, mate. You're in a great position. I think it's about 13 points ahead of me. So we're both in a pretty similar position. You're probably more well set with these transfers, I guess. But yeah, Brighton and heavy on Brighton. It's a good option. Good option, I think. And
so
your next question,
14 people in the top 100.
Oh, sorry, go on.
So I was going to say 14 people in the top 100 have Matoma at the moment.
Should have been 15.
It's not huge. 14% is nothing, is it? So.
No, it isn't. I think that's massively going to change when these fixtures, when these transfers are out.
I think it will as well.
But yeah, I think that's a massive change.
You've got with Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs going out of Europe. It just opens up other players to bring in. People are talking about templates and things, but I think there's opportunities there now.
Yeah, definitely. It opens doors. It closes doors. It's obviously no one's even speaking about like Liverpool players, are they? There's no Europe, and
they aren't. Their fixture volume's not too bad. I think they've got 8 between now and the end of April.
Yeah, it's not the worst.
It's not the worst. You've got some teams like Spurs and Arsenal with 6 fixtures. I wouldn't be touching any Liverpool defenders, but especially with Man City and Chelsea away, then Arsenal. But some of their attacking assets.
Yeah, players like Salah and Nunez.
Salah's the not forgotten man, but there won't be a huge amount of Salah owners there. I don't think he could be a differential. As crazy as that sounds.
Yeah, he could be as well. Nunez, Jota. Talented players there, aren't they? Like you said, the fixture volume isn't the worst. But if you're someone sat there with Kane in your team, are you looking to jump to another player? Is Salah or Nunez not an option there? Or let's say go all out on fixture volume and go for Ferguson. Aman, again, apart from Haaland, do we need City players? I think ultimately City are one of the highest scorers in the league. They score well. I mean, KDB, you can't forget KDB, can we? I think a lot of people seem to he has a bit of a quiet spell and sort of quick to jump on. He doesn't exist kind of thing, but is he not the where's the highest scorer in the game here? He can't be far off.
Whilst you're bringing that up, his minutes have been managed quite a lot in the last few weeks. That some people are saying that he can't play 2 games in a week anymore. I suppose he will get to that stage at some point in his career.
Not now.
I wouldn't say now, no.
fucking hell. It's not like he's like someone who's not like kept his fitness up throughout the years, or so he's not looked after himself. He's fucking hell. He's still young.
We mustn't forget the holy grail to City, though, is the Champions League. I know this sounds going to sound crazy. They don't. Of course, they care about winning the league, but the holy grail for them is that Champions League, isn't it? They want to cement their status as a powerhouse in world football, and winning the Champions League would go some way to helping with that vision, wouldn't it? So, I wouldn't be surprised if he was saved for those Champions League matches. Well, they've got Bayern next, haven't they? So that's not an easy one.
Tricky game.
New manager.
But I mean, if we look at it and we go, well, KDB rested, he's knocking on a little bit. He's an assist merchant. You don't get many points for that, and not score enough, and blah, blah, blah. All the things you hear about KDB throughout the season. He's got 180 points. Saka, on penalties for Arsenal. Absolutely unbelievable. Plays every single game. Doesn't get rested. Doesn't, you know what I mean? He's on 172 points. So...
Who's going to finish? It's not really a fair question. I was going to say who's going to finish the top scorer out of those two, because Saka started the season fairly slowly, but I think with with the extra fixtures that City have got, it's not a fair question, really, is it?
Well, if you argue that he gets rested, then they've got an even amount of games.
Could be.
I think it just shows that De Bruyne has done more than what people feel this season. He's definitely scored more than, probably not as much as he has in previous seasons, but he is the 7th highest scoring player in the game.
Yeah.
So for him to not be an option, I just think possibly the question should have said, other than Haaland and De Bruyne, who should we have from City?
Yeah.
And not Foden, because he's had his appendix out. Mahrez is the most infuriating player in Dream Team. 139 points so far this year, Mahrez.
It's not a bad score, is it? He's about rate.
Tell you what, though, Ivan Toney, 155 points this year.
He did the same last year. And do you remember at the start of the season when we went through the potentials of the players based on their starting price?
Yeah.
Tony was one that was outstripped his starting price by points by a huge margin. And he's done it again this year. So
he has. He's done well.
Yeah.
Done really well. Right. I mean, I'm on City players. You need De Bruyne. I think Haaland, De Bruyne. We can't trust the back line at the minute, but I know there's a couple of teams in the top, which is just above you, for a top 10, that have a City block, and they've done pretty well out of them over the last few weeks. It's a bit unfortunate, because I was going to go that way as well. But yeah, other than that, Andy, we now have a good idea of who's in Europe and FA Cup, so I have a good idea of the probable fixture volume. So instead of looking towards the next month ahead, would it be a good idea of just setting your squad till the end of the season and saving all remaining transfers for injuries and short-term gain opportunities? James?
That's pretty much what I've been doing for the last few months, to be honest with you. Since I moved off that Newcastle block, which was there was some planning that went into it. I went from Newcastle to Man United with remaining fixtures at the end of the month, and that panned out very well. If you've got a decent team, I don't think there's any real need to change it for the sake of it. So
Yeah.
you can use those transfers for injuries and jumping on, potential high-scoring fixtures like one of the Premier League sides. Is it City? You've got Sheffield Wednesday, Sheffield United. Yeah. So sorry, Sheffield fans.
No, it's all right. Insult them.
Sorry,
because it should have been us that went through.
Of course it should. You were quite close, I believe.
Oh, devastating. But it is the trouble of being a Rovers fan and an England fan as well. It's just you set up just to be devastated every single time. So we're one of only 6 of the Football League teams that has not visited the new Wembley. We get within, we were 2-1 up. We hit the inside of the post, it rolls across the line. And then it goes to the last 10 minutes, you're thinking, we'll just see it out. So he brings a defender on and a right back. Within 40 seconds, we concede an equaliser. And then in the last minute of the game, Liverpool lad, one of your lads, Tyler Morton, he gets poked in the eye. While in possession of the ball, he gets poked in the eye. He drops to his knees, whilst the other player Sheffield United player just takes the ball off him and runs off with it. It passes it to a City warning, who knocks it into the top corner from 30 yards.
Yeah, that's harsh, isn't it?
I was like, well, why has the lad gone down? Referee, think about it in your head. He's in possession of the ball with no danger. Why has he crumbled to the floor? Why has he done it? He's in possession. And then I'm thinking, but Morton, why don't you just kick it out whilst you're going down and you're just kick the ball out?
Well, he's a young lad, isn't he? So he probably
he's a good player.
Down yet.
And it's one of them. We're saving ourselves for the playoff final. To be fair, I couldn't afford to go down a few times this year. Expensive, isn't it, going down London?
You're confident of the playoffs then, Tony, I take it.
I hope we get in there. I just hope we get in there.
Yeah.
Since we got relegated from the Premier League, we've not even got in playoffs. We had quite a bit of cash. We had the parachute payments that we wasted under Steve Keane, a prick. We wasted a lot of money, a lot of Venky's money, trying to get back up. Danny Murphy.
Don't go on another Danny Murphy rant, Tony.
No, we'll meet him one day. When we're at one of these awards ceremonies, we'll meet Danny Murphy. I'll have a word with him. Lazy bastard. Anyway, so that was that. So Sheffield United play Man City, and
so that's the type of fixture where if you see Alvarez starting over Haaland, you're going to bring him in, aren't you? That's what you save the transfers for those opportunities.
That is exactly what we're going for. You didn't need the backstory of that game, did you?
Sorry, you lost me.
You didn't need the backstory, did you?
You've lost me there, Tony.
I didn't need to give you all that backstory of the City and Sheffield United game.
Well, no, you got a tendency to go off on one now and again, but we love you for it.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. Mrs. doesn't.
As long as it's not a Klopp rant, I don't mind.
To be fair, I've not touched on Klopp for a while. We'll see how it goes. But Andy, you're very much right. I think it's a sensible move to plan your team from now until the end. I think if you block the fixtures rather than doing it from this month to the end of this month, start of April to the end of April, I'm pretty much doing it start of April to the end of the season. I'm gonna attack that lot of fixtures. Because like you say, that gives you a little bit of save on your transfers, as James says, for attacking some different opportunities, like a City maybe Pagger in Sheffield United or some along those lines. So definitely the way to go, mate. DT Patrick's been on. Similar to my last question, what would be your best 5 differential tips from now until the end of the season? James, you want to go first?
Yeah. Jim Bowen, as Ben likes to call him.
Yeah. Hey, we're on it.
Bowen, yeah.
Looks like Bowen, but it is Bowen. That's just me
and then I've got the 3 Brighton midfielders in this order: Matoma, McAllister, March.
Yeah.
And then I've got Darwin Núñez as my 5th differential.
Yeah, I went Bowen, Alvarez, March. I went Ferguson as well, obviously up top. Tonic, Núñez, Jensen, who, I tell you what, I've not seen his point scores for the season, but then I think it was the very first episode or one in pre-season, Ben touched on Jensen for Brentford.
He does like shopping in pound shop, does our Ben?
He does.
Or Poundland or whatever it is.
Yeah. He scored 78 points. I think he cost $1 million to begin with. And he sat on 78 points. And we'll put that in perspective. And Boomo, who was one of the most popular picks early doors, he's currently on 67 points.
Yeah.
So fair play to Ben. He picked out a bit of a diamond there. Jensen, attacking positions, very, very talented player. So he's on my list as somebody who might pick up a few points, might pick up a Starman Award. Alvarez, Ben Rama at West Ham, penalties.
I did think about him because West Ham have got 14 fixtures.
Yeah, they've got quite a lot
till the end, just up until the end of April, I think. Let's just double check that.
Quick disclaimer. West Ham are shit.
That is a good disclaimer, and it should be probably highlighted more. They, as the most popular word in our Discord seems to be at the moment, they're a bit pony.
Yeah, they are a bit pony. Yeah. And all you West Ham fans, I tell you what, you've got to be screaming to get rid of Moyes again. Surely, how has he survived all season?
As I say,
a talented group of players there. There's so much talent in that squad. How is he not doing better than that?
As I said to a very good West Ham friend of mine, he's not the Moyes sire. He's a very naughty boy. Hopefully that joke won't go completely over the head of our younger listeners.
I'm sure it probably will.
Yeah. Connor, let me know if you got that joke. Yeah, so West Ham got 10 fixtures between now and the end of April. Whereas, as we said before, the likes of Spurs, Arsenal have got 6. So there is the caveats are, yes, they aren't very good.
They've got to score some goals, haven't they?
Did you see they put a lot of goals past that Cypriot side, didn't they? So if you look at the averages for the last 5 game weeks, which I did before the pod, you've got the likes of Antonio up there, and you're like, what's going on here? And then you remember that he scored like a couple of goals against that Cypriot side. And Bowen was up there as well based on that. I think Owen is probably the one to pick if you're going to go with a West Ham player, and he might get minutes in the Papa John's Europa Conference League or whatever it is called, but he might not. So there's some caveats there for. But if you're chasing, could be an explosive option. Do you know who KAAR, Tony? I'm just looking at the fixture ticker. Who is it?
Ghent, Belgium, I think.
Is it Ghent? Okay, fine.
I think it is. KAA Ghent, I think it is.
I don't think they're not going to be the whipping boys of the Cypriot team were. I don't think. I'm not saying they're a European powerhouse, but I think
West Ham should have more than enough.
I would think they would beat them. Yeah.
Yeah, like I say, talented team, West Ham. Got such talented players.
They shouldn't be in the bottom
Definitely not.
half of the table, really.
Not the players they've got in that squad. Definitely not. Yeah, a lot of differentials there to attack. Party and Zante on Twitter has been on. How many points is it too many to be behind at this point with the finish line coming closer? Given that there is so many must-have players like Haaland and not many teams left in Europe to go different. It is a little bit different this year. We've usually got a few more teams to attack in Europe, haven't we? So in that sense, it is. But we do have a few teams in the Premier League that are having to have games rescheduled and other stuff. So fixture volume is still coming into play. I think it should different teams, and I think this is where the argument comes in, doesn't it, James? Of like you say about Liverpool, would you have surefire hitters in big hitters like Salah, Nunez, Yalta, those likes, or would you go for a fixture volume and go for someone like Ivan Toney or I don't know, one of the Brighton lads, or even West Ham, just because of the fixture volume? Yeah, they're playing crap and they don't have any form, but you are trying to maximise your point output in the end. And how many points do you reckon? It's always a tough one. It's always a tough one because it depends. It really does depend on how that team's set up. If you're chasing, it's always harder to chase. If you've got someone in front of you who is very sensible and knows the game inside out, they'll pretty much be able to hold you off, I would guess. At a point difference of what have we got left between 12, 13 game weeks?
Yeah, I just did a quick count of that. I don't think it's quite that many. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 game weeks.
9 game weeks.
Yeah.
9 game weeks. We are really like business end, aren't we?
If you look at it as 10 points a game week, that's 90 points. You could be 90 points behind, and only gain 10 points each one, and you would. So it is possible. I wrote down.
It's doable. But you have to say
it's eminently doable, but I think more than that, is a challenge. But you should never give up ever.
Yeah, never.
Because I've said this before. I was 250 points behind in my pub league, and I gained that back in the matter of 2.5 months. So it can be done and we've got 2.5 months left of the season. So especially if the person ahead of you thinks it's all over and gets complacent, but it's a different kettle of fish when you've got an engaged player, that's for sure. But so I don't know what his circumstances are, but don't give up, keep trying, and you never know. And there's nothing sweeter than coming from 60, 70, 80 points behind and pipping them at the last day of the season. And I've done that. And I'm sure a few of the top guys we've got in our Discord, etc. There's nothing sweeter than that final day victory. So never give up. It's always,
before the wild card, I were 109 points behind in my works league. It never happens. I win my works league all the time. That's why there's only 7 people in it this year, and there's not 12. It's like because people they won't join it anymore.
Yeah, so, I've got the same problem in the pub league, mate. It's dwindling every year because I keep winning it.
Yeah, they get annoyed, don't they?
Yeah.
But then this year, obviously, I'm a little bit behind. We've had the wild cards hit, and I've had a little bit of chip off the person who's in lead. I'm like, it's like they're giving it his 100-point lead. I'm like, he's like, what you paying me with bank transfer or cash? I said, all right. I said, you just wait, you wait. Anyway, the same guy who said that to me is now 100 points behind me. I swear to God. So yeah, it changed very quickly. We've got 9 game weeks. It's tricky. It's tricky. I think if you've got someone who's not really, because some people can just get lucky in Dream Team and they can have a really good season and just absolutely blitz it. If you've got someone who isn't that switched on ahead of you, I would just say just do the simple things now. Keep simple.
Yeah.
Attack fixture volume and quality, and just go and try and attack as many points as you can, and hope. But if you've got someone who's switched on ahead of you, somebody who knows to play fixture volume, the players to play, if you've got something like that, you're going to have to go differential. You have to go differential. You have no other option. It might not stand in your quota because you're a switched on player, but you're going to have to change things up if you want to win your mini league. And there is a few options out there, isn't there?
Yeah, that might be the time to go different block.
Yeah, different block.
That could be the
yeah,
thing
if you sneak a Brighton block in there, I know it sounds crazy. It does sound crazy, but
it does.
It could be the thing that absolutely propels you, especially if you're quite a few points behind. So if you're only a subtle difference behind, just keep going, do sensible options, and it should pan out. But yeah, if you're after snookers, then you're gonna have to take differentials. Right. We'll have a quick run through the leagues, James.
Okay.
Dream Team Tonic Cash League 2023. In 10th, we've got Dan Barton. 9th, Mark Tavares. 8th, Lee Watson. 7th, Tom Brimley. 6th, Andy Allett. 5th, Stephen Williams. 4th, Andy Allett. He's in for a bit of dosh. 3rd, Tom Brindley, forward pot man. He's in for a bit of dosh as well. 2nd, me. Lost my lead again. A bit of a shocking week. And top of the shop, Simon Davis. Well played, mate. 88 points this week. You're sat at the top of the Dream Team Tonic Cash League. The DT Tonic Patreon League. Want to give that a read, James?
Yeah, sure. Very tight league. This people keep dropping in and out of the top 10. Mainly myself, I might add. Let's see, Ben's not in there anymore either. In 10th, Jake Bevan. 9th, Anthony Sutcliffe. 8th, Amandeep Tatler. 7th, Stephen Broughton. 6th, Mark McKee. 5th, Nicholas Steetham. 4th, Wayne Foster Crouch. 3rd, Tom Brinley. 2nd, Lee Utting. And still top, John Mellier.
John Mellier, top of the shop, mate. John and Lee have probably been switching places up there for the longest time. Having a really good season, both of you, mate. It's going to be a tough battle, that. See who wins that out. The Second Chance League, obviously given to everybody who may have had a dodgy start in the season. The top 10 here, joint 9th, we've got Phil Russo and Andrew Tweddle. In 8th, we've got Tom Brindley. 7th, Tom Brindley. 6th, Ben Lee. 5th, Stephen Holt. 4th, me. 3rd, me. 2nd, Jamie Curry. The top of the shop, me. I'm up there. Yeah, that could very quickly change because that is a close league.
No, that's the one I meant was I meant to say that was the close league, to be honest.
I mean, it is. It's cemented. That is like, yeah, you're talking, what, 25 points between most people, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't have Ben on tonight, but I'm sure we'll be back for next week. We've got the transfer special coming up with Fergie. We'll get Fergie on again. If you're listening, you're on YouTube and you aren't involved in the Patreon, come and get involved. As well, yeah, big shout out to our mate, Solo Higgins. Got these bad boys with the camera. I'm not used to doing this. See them lads there?
So I'm in the middle of this one, and I know I've got a bit of hair, but he's giving me completely.
Oh no, you're full on bold on mine, mate.
Yeah, completely bold.
There we are.
But,
Ben, James, and me.
Thanks, Owen, for the pictures.
Oh, honestly,
Appreciate
they're
it.
absolutely top notch. These are. Love
them. Are we going to add it? We'll add his contact details to the notes in the YouTube and in the podcast notes.
Yeah, we'll stick some images of what he does as well, because it's pretty impressive. A lot of memorabilia for kids' football teams, and other stuff as like awards and stuff. Some really, really good stuff. That's just bespoke, obviously, to the Dream Team Tonic podcast. Really good work. Cheers, Owen. Really appreciate it. It was a really nice treat seeing that come through my door, and we do appreciate it. So, yeah, we'll drop your details below. Anybody interested in anything like that, we will definitely push it. So cheers, Owen. Is that us done, James?
I think we're done, mate. I wasn't expecting to go on so long, but I think we've had a good
chat, haven't we, mate?
Yeah.
All good. Right. Thanks everyone for listening. Again, I know it's coming towards the end of the season, and we don't get as many listeners as we used to towards the start of the season, because you've all dropped out and you're all fed up of Dream Team. But we try and keep you going. And yeah, have a good weekend. International break's over now. That's the real stuff. Enjoy yourselves. Take care.
Cheers.